Danger thing it is. Danger in the Lama Tiri. Temperature, Lama T. Danger thing is temperature, Lama Tiri thing it. Lama T. The ginger she is Lama Tiri, the chorus. Then she do la lotus. Tembas, then she do la lotus. Sundua. Sunday Tangla, you do miss. Not a beauty to ashes. Ning did dance, danger case. The need you need shit. What the need you did a cherry. Dojin the Tola Swat, Lama Juvenal Yerba. What that the need you see at the Imbury. Danger. Tenya the Carton Lama Temurba. Danger Lama the senior in the Candidate Correscena. Then she do la lotte. Certain Tangla, you do me. Mother, you to us. Sending Daisy, danger care. Dingy Jew. Dingy Jews did the check it. Dingy Jew, cabbage go is.
So then back to the verse. It's on page number 41, 8 and 9. It says, steady, calm, intelligent, patience, forthright, without the craft and falsehood, right? Knowledgeable in the practice of mantra and tantra, kind and well-read, profession in the principle. 10 principle actually is a 10 principle. So this 10 principle, you also find that in Lama Tsongkhapa practice. I think it's a section of the Praising to Lama. It said the Lama, someone who has 10 called 10 principles, 2 folds of 10 principles. So that when it's here it says 10 principles, that refers to that kind of 10. Also describes in the Lama Tsongkhapa practices as well. So that's all.
What that the Dojin Zimbetola Swat is Nagi. Lama Dilla. In the Chikunguya is.
So in the Lama Tsongkhapa section, it said that Dojism, that kind of Lama who has 2 folds of 10 principles. So then that kind of Lama is like a Vacha master. So that is where the section that describes the Vacha master's quality. So you will find that in the text.
That in it, then she do la lotte, then certain tongue, certain seated chinsar. That tongue seated.
So actually, we already cover steady and calm and intelligent, and then the patience. Now we are at forthright, right? Forthright here, tongue. Okay.
Oh, that the tongue seated caressing. Simjel Habe Sambe Nevas. Simjel Gogotan in Maimba. Habe Sambe, Samba Tampachile. Never Chile. Thomas here is.
So forthright, if you look at the commentary, on the commentary, again it's on page 41 at the bottom, right? The forthright means carrying on with an exceptional motivation towards living beings. And it was forthright or honesty, right? Honesty. Tangwa means honesty, being honest. And the Tibetan it says Tangwa is Tangwa means straight. Straight means like a very not falling into like sides and being really in the middle. That means like honest.
Oh, Tamani, Simjel Habe Sambe never was, Hasamki never said, Samba Tambuchi never chiller, Tamaski every. You do want to Mason.
So Tawa again means the honesty or forthright. So here in the commentary is exceptional motivation towards living beings. So then here in Tibetan it says Laksam. Laksam means as a very pure, sincere kind of mental attitude.
다 달라봤으니 라슴 세대 다 유기 매비지 그래야 근데 요때 주시야지 인구를 잡혀 온게 중심이다 유교시야지 지단 인구를 잡혀 온거 중앙에서 년부터 울디라 잡혀 온게 아니 유교시야지 잡혀 온거 중앙에서 대한 인구를 잡아디 온게 아니 유교시야지 온거 야리스 그래서 인구를 잡혀 온거 중심 저자도 그냥 거룩 탈도 유교신이 간절했으나 중요하디 인구를 잡에 수수 예바세야지 지라야 치도 예바세야지 인구를 잡에 온게 아니 유교셔야지 인구야리스 다 유교셔야지 가르센 저자다 띵무 거룩 차도지레스 국가리 차도들이 저자기 차도를 지인벌이 인구를 차도여봐 인구를 차도에서는 그 저자기 차도를 지르봐 그래서 저자다 띠무건루기 차도 라와라 랑이 예봐 턱이 명은 버져봐 다지다 저자다 띠무기 차도 중앙딘 들어가 임발라 그런 게 개주디 가르스네 랑이냐 바탕이 명을 버제 연대 메시도 여바다 되니들 유지체세 예바디 베칸도 지니 아니 연대 메장 연대 여바다를 좀 버지야 되니 들 유지체세
So then forthright means also you can think of like free from the following two faults, like it says craft and falsehood, right? Craft and falsehood. So then the honesty is something that free from these two faults can be understood. And then the craft and falsehood comes about because of attachment and devotion, and are similar in being to subside of either greed or stupidity, right? So that means the yogyu. Okay, yogyu means aiming to gain some offerings or some material objects from others, right? Nyengurla chapa means always wishing to receive some gifts from others, right? So that is called attachment. That is like an attachment, and one that is actually combination of that kind of wish or that kind of mistaken mind is something like that. So this is actually a mixture of attachment and here is a stupidity, right? Sometimes they say ignorance. Timuk means ignorance, right? This is because of the attachment and ignorance, right? And then so they are very similar, the yo and you, and here it says craft, right? Craft and falsehood are very similar. The distinction is that the craft means, and yo in Tibetan, yo means hiding your mistake or hiding our own the flaws, right? And like in any way, like in any means, like so we just try to hide that our faults. And then the falsehood consists of pretending to have a quality that doesn't have yet. That's right. So the you means like you're using different types of method to show that or pretending that you have some sort of like a spiritual quality instead of that. So this is the two different things, but their main primary goal is to gain some trust from others and try to gain some gifts or the offerings from others.
주에 개단 개도 누가 의미지스 다 디가르수데 시드네 나다 맹기 주에스 나다 맹기 주할 때니 개도 그래 개도 누발라 아니 야 러빙 공간이 시에버리스 나다 규시디스 나다 규지 좋아 시발라 규주자레 데발레 상아 규지 좋아 시되네 아니 나다 메기 죄 겐도 네바시 나다 메기 좋아를 때니 겐도 네바 아란드 네바르지네 네바티 나다 네바를 때니 겐도 네바 메기 좋아를 때니 겐도 네바지라 아니 디 가르수레 나다 귀시시세티 나다 귀기 좋아시세티 나다 맹기 좋아해 겐도 네바라 사지
So the next is called, let's see, what is this? Hiding. The guru should be without this. Okay, Ananda Garba in the commentary on the Net of Illusion Tantra renders the phrase knowledgeable in the practice of mantra and tantra as knowledgeable in the practice of secret tantra. He explains the knowledge as ability to turn black hindrance by the practice of medicine and mantra. Yeah, that's really straightforward. So that means like if is there any obstacles comes about or face some obstacles, that obstacle needs to be removed, and there's different ways to do it. So then some obstacle can be removed by doing mixing some herbal medicinal stuff, so then you can remove that obstacles, and also by doing some rituals and a mantra thing like rituals, then you can remove that obstacles, that kind of quality.
Ngati kamba kebala suba kanje siti jumde de pawe unjula chatre se kanje de bacherwa odi jumde de pawe unjula chatre keba chimi metanya tundu nale iba odi tila kanje de bateliya sikiaris.
So then yeah, knowledgeable in the practice of mantra and tantra means is talking about it. Here it says mantra is the 8-syllable mantra. So 8-syllable mantra is we call it the Gange in Tibetan, Gange. In Tibetan we recite it right? And I think in Sanskrit there is like anyway, so do you remember the what you call 8 lines? Okay, 8 lines of tantra practices. Here it says there's the 8-syllable mantra. I don't know. No, not that. It's not that. This comes if you in the Tundu practice you have the mantra for both father and mother. In the Vajrayogini you have only mother. 8 lines of prayers. Praise. Do you in Tibetan it says Om Chom Depa Om Chula, right? And do you remember the mantra? I mean like the Sanskrit, how you say it in Sanskrit? If you have the first one. Bhagavati ya Breya Zaya Hum Hum Pe, yeah. That one, okay. Yeah, so yeah. So that mantra, talking about that kind of mantras.
Tati 간제 그때부터 팬 침부시다 인선도 내절을 두두 담바 내절 두두 간제 그때부터 동그리스기야.
So it said that here it says 8 syllable mantras, right? But the 8 lines of mantra, 8 lines of praise mantra, something like that. So anyway, so these mantras it said that it's very powerful. It has lots of benefits, and then and also recommend that when you go on pilgrimage and if you see all the objects, so you always recite these 8 lines. That means like a form of offering or like praising to the object.
간제 그때부터 대조 그때부터 도대 대조 그때부터 저선 안주 내절 두두 내절 패쳐디 온주그 내봐 온주그 내인데 온주그 내 간거로 대조 내 인제 대조 온주 뒤버봐 저선 배 온주 파 온주 뒤 가르쳐 그래. 아니 지 뒤버리 시기를 그래서는 먼저 되게 심전 눈여지만 뭐 그래서 맞춰지야 두수 아니 딩델 때는 용기야. 단저 운주비 집어지냐 두수 배저 맞춰들 딩델 봐. 그래서 주 나라 남배나라 대조기 운주디 뒤베이 운주가 내 간가 대조 내 인제 내 숨주다니 시야르바 이인이 주다니 내 숨주다니 세제르바 두수 간가 저 운주 침배 내 이제다 다 대조 운주디 뒤베이서 니 온주고 내가 대조고 내스기야. 어디에서 디디 간게 그때부터 제이나 온주고 내가 간거로 대조고 내에서 간게 그때부터 제인데 대조고 그때버리지. 어디에서니 온주 내제를 두두 좀 간게 그때부터 좀
That's all. So then it said that if you recite these 8 lines of prayers or praise when you're visiting the holy site in India, right? It has lots of benefits. First of all, this mantra is Chakra Samvara mantra, and present to Chakra Samvara. And Chakra Samvara, we believe that Chakra Samvara is the Buddha's emanation, as he emanated in that form to subdue Shiva.
What is Shiva?
It's a deity. It's a Hindu deity. It's God, and he was very powerful. He was very powerful, and he was really like expanded like an entire area. Entire area means in that region, right? And he was so powerful that then because of his power, then there's many people that practice what you call animal sacrificing animals and stuff like that. Anyway, so then if you go to holy sites in India, it said that most of the holy sites they always have some sort of like affiliated with this deity, Shiva. So then the Shiva was subdued by Chakra Samvara. So then, when we go any places, if you recite this mantra, and it says it's very beneficial.
어디 내절 듣던 간제 그때부터 때는 펜심부시다 유스기야리 저선 간제 그때부터 어디 말한저 내절 듣던 때야디 간제 그때부터 던 거야리 뒤된 된수는 뒤 대조비 되버려봐 뒤저기다 두수 간가 남배시도 잠바 운주고 내 간가 대조고 내 인제 버려 대조고 운주 뒤에 인식해라 다 남배시도 대조고 운주 뒤에 인식해라 다 신대신이야 운주비 대조 뒤에 인식이 있지라 ganshi odire jeta
let's
nje
so
kanje gitobati karasa nenje lutu tamba kanje gitobati tungu togo yari.
So and yeah, so like I said, it's very beneficial if you recite these outlines when you go to holy sites in India. So then in Buddhists, they claim that the Shiva was subdued by Chakrasambhara, and then the Hindu, they might have a different version of explanation. in any way, so then in any way, it is a holy place. So you look from the other side or this side, it always been like holy place. So then whenever you go, so then recite that mantra. So it has lots of benefit by doing that.
Dati kanji gitobati Odi kwaleso.
Ngata gyugi jowa shiese.
Ngata gyugi jowa shiese. Ngata zeji rangi le shiwa chibawo. Ngati kamba jebe nga jebimba. Kamba jebe nga seti kanji gitobati.
So somehow let's see.
Kamba jabala soba osduga. Bawa bade ngani kamba jabala soba.
Soba posto.
Kanji gittoba umjunda de peunjula chateng museyati. Begeche ne tireba.
Somewhere it mentioned that actually. Let's see. Bawa bade ngani kamba jabala soba was. Let's see. Do new bus? No. Okay. Let me try to find out. Hundreds of practices, knowledge, let's see. Increasing mantras. Anyway, so in the commentary it mentioned that, literally it mentioned that when it says here, when it says mantra, so that mantra referring to the 8 praises. Is this, do you see this in commentary? Let's see. Complete this skill in science. No, I don't see it here. Anyway, okay. So in here it said that the mantra, so that literally is referring to the 8 lines of praise to Chakrasambhara.
Ati kamba jabala subasiti kanji vitobati. Ta gyuni menam sos gyusiyati mengi gyuyarba. Oti gyugnal mengi gyuyari. Chisa gyuni menam nam sos che. Chawani chebawu, shebani kebawu. Ngata zegi rangi jawa shisu. Duga sheba la chawu sita. Ngata zegi rangi jawa. Ngala teni shiwele, gebele, mani tabule, ongi le yarba, shisu le shi yarba, oti tubatile. Ngala teni shisu le tuya, zela teni, anju zeti, jinsi tile shiwe jinsi, tabu jinsi, ongi jinsi, gebe jinsi yuba, otusu ngagi. Ngala teneriba, ngala teneri, zela teneri, zeti, shiwe jinsi, zeti, kalayiba, shiwe jinsi ti, kaburu chichigurba, gebe jinsi ti, zeti, ruta tusu kanga, sebu sugiba, ongi jinsi tila, tini, maburi, tabu jinsi tila, Sabu jinsi jitu tamba rutu su napuri su ani dinala jinsi taya dinala chamaru dinga yari di tabu jinsi dila shiwe jinsi dinga ju lerung cha su na jinsi taya tili shiwe jinsi siyari. Shiwe jinsi siyati jinsi nyemba dedu zamba nga mataba ta, chogal hache ta, dindegi nyeba mabu yarba. Di chi shiwe chidu karasa nga jani bungi di chi jani, ani di talaya shiwe jinsi chigiduba. nga mataba ta chogal hache la sube dedu nyeba tu stabi chidu jinsi pigu yari tila shiwe jinsi siyatiri. Yang tabu di tabu jinsi siti tabu rana nuji la sopa tu sula shiwe chidu jinsi jiyati tabu jinsi siyari sena kuna ra chigiri tabu jinsi ti odi sa gebe siya jinsi siti benjo cheta benjo la sopa gebe chidu jinsi jiyari odi gebe jinsi si shiwe jinsi siyati ngandu namju nyemba teni ane nga mataba ta chogal haje ki nyeba mabu yarwa dusu tabi chidu jinsi siyati li shiwe jinsi siyari odi ta jinsi tili shiduwa odi
So then on page 42, I think it says mantra is to add syllable. So syllable mantra. So that means I think that is add the press, add lines of press to Chakra thing. And then the tantra is medicine and the practice activity. Knowledgeable means skill, right? So medicine. So the medicine. So here he does explain this, knowing the accomplish one's own activities by peaceful. Yes. So then activities, right? Activities. There are the activities. They conduct in jorwa dirwagin jorwa che de la ngagi jorwa na zegi jorwa che. So that's okay. Activities has two. It can be done with the mantra and it can be done with the substances, right? So the mantra, like and activities that can be done in two ways. By have each of these has like 4 different types, sort of like peaceful. It's just violent, right? And sometimes they say wrathful, and subduing and increasing, right? Peaceful, increasing, subduing. Okay, sometimes they call it powering, right? Power. So anyway, so the peaceful, violent, subduing, and increasing. There are again four each. So you can do peaceful activities with the mantra, and the violent activities with the mantra, and subduing and the increasing with the mantra. And also you can do with the substances. Substances like, so when we do fire puja, so for instance, when we do fire puja, similar like that. So fire puja has like a violent, peaceful, subduing, increasing. And each of these activities has different types of substances, and the color of the substance will be different. For the peaceful, you always see white color. In the violent or the wrathful, you will see always, and primarily it's like a black color, dark color, right? And the subduing will be red, yes, red. And then the increasing will be yellow. So then you will see different colors according with the different types of activities, right? And then the wrathful, so the substances would be like a black color, and also the wood that you burn will be different. It's with like it has all this thorn and stuff like totally different, right? And then so that is mainly done for overcome obstacles in a very wrathful way, sort of like in a very forceful way, right? And then the increasing, for instance, increasing activities done solely to increase your wealth, increase your life, and increase your prosperity and wisdom and so on, right? So then subduing to the control under something, and then the what you call the peaceful. Peaceful is very kind of common. The fire puja normally we do. It's very commonly we do it. So for instance, we do it right after when we do retreat. Right after the retreat, we perform peaceful fire puja. It's always white. And then normally we done peaceful fire puja right after the retreat is because that because the peaceful practice, peaceful fire puja is meant to pacify any mistake, right? Mistakes and stuff like that. And here, when we do it right after the retreat, and then what happens, like during the retreat, we may recite mantra, you know, like maybe we have like wrong pronunciation and wrong the mantra, and maybe we lose some concentration, and when we may not arrange all this the offerings in a proper way, and then we make lots of mistakes during the retreat. So in order to overcome all this, you know, the negative karma or negative things, so then we do peaceful fire puja. This is the whole purpose, to pacify something that we may have met some negativity impact by doing this retreat.
나도 되게 라는 게 저시수 저거 시험하세요. 뒤에서만 전대 땜바니 심지어는 동네도 된 저죠. 댄줄을 캐봐서야지. 도지굴에 리벤나는 군을 캐스다. 댄줄을 캐봐서야지. 리벤나 나를 캐봐서야지. 나리바 자리바 소아리바 아니 그래 댄지리바 다리벤나 나야르바
나리바 소아리바
나리바제
댄지리바
딘지리바제 소아리바제 아니 나리바제서 그네
소아리바 댄지리바
아니 소리바 리벤나마세
시모도 레마스다 디기트 So then returning now to our Gosha verse, kind means, okay, kind means having great kindness that wants all beings, all living beings to be removed from their sufferings, right? The meaning of well-read, or Tibetan in Kepa, I don't know which I said in Kepa. Anyway, so okay. So the well-read accords with the passage from the Vajrapanjara Tantra that said, completely skilled in all the signs. It's a science, right? It does mean knowing the Buddhist signs and the three baskets. So the all signs means like there are 5 major signs, sort of like 5 major signs. The first one is called. First one is listed here. It said doctrine, Buddhist doctrines, right? And then Soaripa means in medicine, the doctrine in medicine, and Soripa means maybe what you call this? I don't know. Soripa is like manufacturing things, like what you call it? Like building statue, building mandala, and sort of like what you call for that kind of skill. Engineering, craving, right? And then the Tinsit Ripa is doctrine in logics, and there's another one. Nagaripa this one. Nagaripa, Soripa, Tinsit Ripa, Soripa, Chikara. Daripa, oh yeah, sound, doctrine in sound. Sound means, yeah, sound, I would say sound, yeah.
Oh, that did it, didn't it?
Or maybe language, I don't know, sound or language. Sound,
Ribenna.
sound. Grammar?
Tati, Ribenna Guna Siajimba, Ribenna Nasiajiba, Shesumbatar, Nariba, Tenusum Shibala Subas. That Nariba, do it in Shibambe Tenushiba. Do it in Shiba, said it to Nesum Shibala Subas.
So then it means knowing the Buddhist. They give one example of like the doctrine in Buddhism, right? It says, that means knowing Buddhist signs, the 3 baskets, right? 3 baskets. There are 3 basket of doctrine. We'll say, the Duet means like the doctrine of Vinaya, and doctrine of what? Abhidharma and Sutra and Abhidharma, yeah. In Tibetan, it says maybe sutra, in a doctrine in sutra. Mobe is Abhidhamma, doctrine in Abhidhamma, and the Dwe means doctrine in Vinaya.
Oh, that is Riba, Dennis Sum Shevala Sobache, Naripa teacher. That Dini, Juni, Najo, Dini Jusum, did and check it, Doji Dimbetula, so at the Lama Tsongkhapa, Dini Jusum, did and check it, Doji Dimbetula, so at the Nangali, Nalama Teletin, Dini Jusum. Dini juice, the Nagi Dini juice, Chi Dini juice, Dini juice, Suni, not the Dini juice, Jitan, check it, said Dini juice, the Ni, or Nagi Dini juice, but Chi Dini juice, said Jerva, what Dini juice, said the chair.
So the next is called as 10 principles. 10 principles. We read in the final chapter of Ornaments of the Virtual Essence Contour of the 10 inner and outer principle. They said that here. And also you can find that line in the Guru Puja. Guru Puja means the Lama Tsongkhapa. The Lama Tsongkhapa. It said that 2 folds of 10. Here it says principle. Sometimes they say 10 suchness, right? Suchness. Sometimes they say 10 principle. So then it says 2 folds of 10 principle. When it says 2 folds of 10 principle, then it's like a 10 inner and 10 outer principles.
Then Dini juice, Chi ju, now Ding Juba. Tatilla Chindo Nini, Chuju double, only Childobas.
They need you to go marry. They need you to watch it.
Samadi Nangi Dini Juje, Chi Dini Juice, Della Chindo Nini, Chuju double up, then Childobas, Chuju Gumni, Childobanini, Chuju double Gumbala, then Chindo Jeba. Dine Keldo Bachibata, Chuju Gumne, Keldo Bachibatan, Ani Chuju Kulu Dindi Dini, Ani Keldo Bachibas, Nichi Dine Doba, so Jebe, Chindo Siniche. Sawada Shiro Yishi Onkula Nijang, Nile Masunjang, Sawan Puma Tobala Kue, Puma Chumba, Sumbe, Shiva Chumbe, Del Dishi, Dini Juice Dinalata, Onku Kangat, Ongu, Bumbe Ongu, Sawan Ongu, Shirabishi Ongu, Shiva Chumba Muchis, Angati, Dini Junality.
So then that would be again the Choju the church
or the Chindonis.
Chindonis away.
That's Geldo. Geldo Vicia the Yerba. And any Chindo Vanini Choju double Gomni Childobas. Daji Chindo Nibuti Choju Gomne Gelti Pandova Chiachi. Yan Chuju Kulutine, many Geldo Bachiachi, ni, the Genze say at the Tuba, Genze Sweet to Sunalia, Sunshuti, Dine, Geldo Yavita, Kulumambuti, Namabuti, Sunshu Fisharity, Tobe Kantiavi. Gendes didn't do it. Did you know Gate of the Gia Columba, but the Sunshul Fisher or Dinner?
So, anyhow, this is on page 42, right? It says the 10 secret principles are these: the 2 turning black rituals, the secret and the transcendent wisdom empowerments. So Rinpoche got, so for up to here, it says that now you move down to the bottom, the last paragraph. It says, the two turning back ritual refers to in the passage the turning back of the danger and hindrance by meditating on 10 furious ones and 10 wrathful deities and 10 protectors, and then the turning back for danger by writing a magical formula and the fastening it on the body and so on. Anyway, so then the first one is says turning turning back rituals, right? So one is referring to meditation. You are meditating on 10 wrathful deities and creating all these chakra wheels and so on. So you're blocking out all these hindrance and obstacles and stuff like that, right? And then another way to do is, you can print on a paper and you draw the Tojo Sunkur means like the chakra of the 10 wrathful deities, right? And print it on that. And for instance, then if you visit a monastery, you will see this yellow thing sticking on top of the temples, right? We call Gyansen. Gyansen is something they call Victoria banner, right? Victoria's banner. So in that thing, so we actually fill up with that kind of mantras, the 10 protectors, the mantras, and also the mandala and so on, just to remove or block out any hindrance or obstacles from outside. So this is how you can do like it's two things, like by doing meditation and placing all these objects with this the wrathful deities pictures on it. Oh yeah, and then he continues. He said, and then writing on the body, right? And although empowerments other than the secret and transcendental wisdom empowerment are not mentioned here, since the secret empowerment is given after the attainment of the vast empowerment, significant the vast empowerment. Anyway, so there's the next the activities 10 the among the 10 principles are like conveying or giving all this we call this empowerments. Okay, so that empowerments includes here it says Sawa, the share up. Okay, Sawa means secret empowerment, and share up means wisdom empowerments.
What that is Kajurjibe Chogata, Doma, Dojin Debata, Doshutubi Chogata, Rabduneta, Jingur, Same Dinichu, that Same Dinichu said, Samata, Sheriffs, Saya Unkur, Sheriff said. Yani Kajurjibe Chogas, Kajur said, the Karasubre. Karasubre. That Kajur Jebe Chogas, Kajur said,
Suma the Tewachi.
Sumata Tewachi.
Suma the Tewachi.
Then Data Kumaravjina Kumage Ani Suma Deni Sumati Tindutamba Kumali Capjojiat in the Surt in the Yarba. What the Sumatiliati Kagasuyati Captain of Cherba. What the is in it? Quickly teaching you America, Giati Temple and Never Races, says in it. Many Sumatilia, Kutan, Sumani, Tevarchibati. Aniku Sumagi, Captain Macheneta, Kurankansa Kurangi, Nevachi Mishuji, Sumagi, never let any go.
Okay, so then it goes on the ritual for separating. This is on page number 22. Ritual for separating those who are kissing, right? So that means separating negative being from a powerful supportive beings. Okay? So that means example is I able to give example like if there is a thief, okay, thief, and then so when they go out and steal from people, they use their human kind of ability and human strength to committing that kind of actions, right? So then if they kind of through the ritual, if they're able to deceive a powerful beings, right? So then so what they can do is like their the activities will be much powerful and more harmful to beings, right? Beings, because of that power he gained it from powerful beings, right? So then they, through this ritual, is a separating means like then we need to we need to tell that the powerful being, sort of like explain them, and also whatever he's doing, this is harmful for being, and kind of like giving all this explanation to them, and try to make separate from that being, yeah, the being. That means like if we're able to separate that kind of powerful being, sometimes they call it as a protector, right? Protector. Anyway, so they're powerful beings. So then what happens like so they by his own strength, like as a human being, they cannot do much. But if they gain some kind of support from that kind of being, their action will be much greater. So that's why we can diminish their negative actions by separating this kind of deities or the powerful beings from them.
That Dharma Seti, Dharma Tanya Driba, Doji Deva Seti, and Doji Deva Cheti Riba, Doji Deva Seti, Lumutanju Nesum, Lung Padru Tamba Hunki Tang, Chui Tamba Hunki Tang, Sum Padru Tamba. Seti, Chui Yati Omgitan, Padru Yati Hungitan. Then never Seti, Sumbuti, Omgit, Nant Jubachera, never Ches, Hungi, Lung Padge. Long Tanju Nesum Siati, Giatilla, Doji Deva Siati, Long Pan Om Siati, Om Gitangi Lunal to Juyagati, Tradi, Om Situ, Hum Siagitile, Dantile Pan Ruyagitanti, Siati, Nebe Dantile, Lung Sing. Ani never check. Ani Pandre Tandil, whom said Pandre, Lung Tanju Nesumdi. City Lung Tinado Jubaji. Hongi Tandil, Lung Nado, Yagin, Dandiari. That deep badly never Dandije. And the Padre until whom said City Nunado Jubetan Divice. Then that never of Chirva. The Barra Department of it until never did say Chida Lung Nadu Young Pandra Mishiti David Lung never did it and maybe very did 30 Tanjunia something. Never duty le so we are. C'est that tu lung din not jube tanti. The parute whom sima never tanti sus jubri. Shen lung de Nalia the young part and young twitch did the Lung never did it and she did it and never that the lose about the lung the never Namshina lung the never do Chaviari. 제상 롱등주 내순 딜레 아홍 순기 당이여스게 세디 주주베 당디제 디네 홍 심말레베 파딜 네베 당제 세디 네베 당제 디네 홍 시디판주베 당제 롱등주 내순 당 아홍 순기 당니부디 예메도 네베딜레 제투 중수는 도지 대바스게 될 도지 대바스야 돼. 당주내 순당 당 이부디 예메로지도 주르수는 도지 대바스게
예메 레지 로직 쓰고서 말 오마 홍코로 로직 쓰고래
말에
수용하들라 당 로직 never 당 로직 파 드로워더 로직 홍 드로워더 로직 this word okay so then next one is called offering cake, right? That is offering torma, so that's kind of easy to understand, self kind of explanatory, right? And then the next one is called vacha repetition. So vacha repetition is that visualizing the operation of our breath, sometimes they call wind, right? The wind, the activities of the wind. So we kind of incorporate with three mantras, Om. So when the wind comes in our body, so visualize that as Om, and then when it stays in our body, it stays in a form of A, and when it goes out as Hum, right? This kind of repetition, this kind of visualization is called vacha repetition, right? So then when the wind comes in our body, so then we need to visualize that that wind has omgitang. Omgitang means maybe you may say like that wind has the radiation of Om mantra, or sometimes they call sound of mantra, right? So whatever, so then it comes in that form like Om, then it stays as a A and goes out as a Hum, same thing. You can use this as a radiation or sound, or different people they go with different translation, I think, right? Anyway, so in essentially the Om in the nature of Om comes in the nature of A stays, and in the nature of Hum goes out. Right now we cannot actually able to see them as inseparable like wind and Om. So we see, when we visualize, we always see wind and Om is in a separate, different entity. So you need to visualize them as a one entity and coming in and out, going all these things, right? And then the right now we got the shidu. Shidu means like in the basis level, and we have like a path level and the resulting level. Right? In the basis level, we do not, this is like what we are, like we as a normal being like us, right? At this moment, we do not have abiding wind. As soon as it comes in, it goes away right away, right? So we don't have abiding kind of moment at this moment. But when we do this practice visualization, so you need to visualize that wind is abiding within yourself for a while and going out, even though it doesn't happen, but visually, so you should imagine that it's happening, abiding and sitting wind for a while in your body and going out at leisure. So in the shidu means like on the basis level, we do not have that, but we need to forcefully imagine that it's happening.
yante dindi tanda mebri tati neva di chetu sene ne su samba che dindi che lung pa ro ata chui yong ne neba dine pa ro ata che dangju ne sun che ba nam ju na lung di chui yong ba da lam sa chui yong ya di u di chui yong ya di zo de nam sa pa dang ya di ba na ju na bu lung di ne Dayasi mebri chui leba dang nam sa pa ro chui ro dis de ba tati 장니 네 출래 숨삼 때네 내 숨삼 제 내버 디치도니네 쓰니 등주 내 숨세야 되지네 딜리 장장수네 아니 내버 디 유린도 멘지 룸판도야다 추야디 퉁루퉁루지 아니 남시나 내버 견자제 아니 유린도 네 디데 남시나 룽 우메나를 추두려야 돼. 단데 먼저 룽디로 장이스 나부예버들 자로마세야 돼. 나부임버들 자장마시지. 로장이기 나네 파로 추두 제지게. 우메나네 룽동 지기야 말이야. 다든데 딘데 곰곰 전에 로장이기 룽드 우메나를 추 오메나를 추스는 아니더니 로장이기 룽딜라 남도 신벨 룽시게 남도 강 계약한 걸로 로장이 룽딜라 되니기게 대 오메나도 추나 오메나기 룽딜라 이식 룽시게 제사 단다 먼저 루메 자 오메나 룽주루야 말이야 다다 장인도 디네 로장이 나네 룽주야디 메베체 우메나를 치고 우메나 추순데다 나도 남도 강가 로장이 룽디 셔바제네 남도 지기야래 당나리 체네 셈디 룽레 데네 조스기야래 제사 룽디 남도 shumbe 룽세 로장이기 주네 주베 룽디 남도 강가 로장이기 룽텔레 되니기리 요리 딜레 남도 shum바리 주베 룽스게리 다티 룽디 우메난도 추수나 ene 남도 강가 가트게 대치사 우메난도 단도 운주 자 오메나 룽 두고 메버리 룽 강가 로장이네 주 로장이네 주도 로장이 들레 주베 룽 들레 레룽스기야래 이식 룽스는 우메냐 나를 주베 룽 들레 이식 룽스 로장이네 주베 룽 들레 남도 신벨 룽스기야래
So the verse recitation means like in Tibetan it says lung dang juk, right? So lung dang means like wind expanding and juk means like withdrawing, right, from your body. This is the two activities happening. So then at this moment the abiding is not happening. Again, forcefully you need to meditate and visualize and imagine that there's abiding is occurring when you do these visualizations. Forcefully, you need to do that, right? So then the purpose of virtual recitation is that we are trying to withdraw our wind into the central channel. That is the purpose of doing this virtual recitation. So then, if we keep doing this, right now, the exhalation and the inhalation, duration of exhalation and inhalation. Then okay, so the wind going out and coming in, the period of time is longer. Right now, it's longer. There's no time for abiding at this moment, right? when you do practices, the visualization practices, what happens like you are shortening the exhalation and inhalation, and you are prolonging the abiding moment. So then eventually, the exhalation and inhalation will cease, and then you will only have abiding wind, right? So that then that should be occurred inside the central channel. So that is the purpose of doing vajra recitation, right? So then another reason why we are doing a vajra recitation is that normally at this moment all the winds are actually flowing or like traveling inside the two side channels. Two side channels is never occurring inside the central channel. So then when it happens in these two side channels, what happens? This wind is called a karma wind, or sometimes you call action wind, or the karma wind or action wind. That is actually a result of all this karma thing, right? All these things. So that's what we call it karma wind. So the function of the karma wind is that it's actually causing us confusion, and then we have this what you call this the conceptual mind. Conceptual mind is caused by this karma wind, right? And the Tantrayana is said that the wind and the minds are inseparable. They are same, same with two faces of like the same nature. There's no differences in like a mind and the wind. Wherever mind goes or mind exists, and there is wind, and wind has the mind, always go together. So that's why. So if you are not control this the karma wind into side channels, then we will always have confusion, and we will always have what you call this conceptual mind, conceptual thoughts. Yeah. So then by doing this vajra recitation, so then we are able to enter the wind into the central channel. So then it abides into the central channel. When it happens in the central channel, is said that wind is called wisdom wind. Okay? There's no confusion, there's no conceptual thought or anything like that. There's no mistaken kind of like a perception or anything like that when it occurs there. So then, so this is the whole purpose of doing this vajra recitation. We try to enter, abide, and dissolve the wind into the central channel, and then we try to seize the winds that actually flows in the two side channels to avoid any confusions.
That is just the Ganges, the Shinto Nichi. Kareres.
다들 대니 주들이게.
Dini Chutriba.
도만 추추 도지 대바 차슬라.
다 도지 대바 단데 데르바.
차슬라.
도지 대바 세.
작슈죠.
이용해야지. 도지 대바 세. 셔야지.
도도 마음도 대코나. 야 대코나 니 사줄 발데 셰바 오슬라. 되니 작슈르셔. 작슈 두바네. 작슈 주베 초가다. 럽도네다 긴고 산에티니. 어디 럽도네바 작슈 주베 초가다 시제 잡부 레 주베 초가세 제 럽도네바 세티 담네 담네티제 담네지 So then list goes on ritual of violent accomplishment, right? So then there is the wrathful kind of rituals, and blessing statues and establishing mandala. Okay, blessing statues means blessing statue. This is pretty straightforward.
다 긴구를 줘봐서야지. 인도 긴구 배나 당주린도 잡아. 긴구를 줘봐서야 제르바. 긴구
So then next one is called establishing mandala. So mandala means, let's say for instance, when we take self-initiation, so then visualize, we will visualize mandalas in front of us. So that kind of activity is called establishing mandala.
지단 긴구를 세야지, 길을 세야지, 닝부제, 코를 세야지, 렘바제. 닝부 렘바 세야지. 닝부 때도 뉴스미리 시럽티 닝부제. 아니 긴구 두발한테 긴구샤 되네 단주리 지제 세지도가 teletini lenyati 아니 대동 유수님이 시티 조가지야가 탑들라
So then
렘바세티 긴 길리세티 닝부체 콜세티 렘바체 징골세티 길티 닝부체 콜티 렘바체 레야기 닝부트 가르레스네니 대동 유수님이 시르세티 나게 디르바 닝부트 대동 유수님이 시디르바 어디 길리세티 닝부체 콜티 렘바체 징골세티
And establishing mandala also means that mandala in Tibetan we say gil korp, right? Gil means center or essence or the essence, yes, essence. And core means some it could be like a turning or turning. Here it means extracting, right? So that means like extracting essence, right? So the essence refers to non-dual wisdom. So then by doing this act, like when we build a mandala and visualizing mandala and giving in the mandala, all of these actually facilitating us to achieve or extract that kind of essence. Essence is essence means non-dual wisdom experience, right? So all of this, visualizing this and building mandala and visualizing in mandala or mandala, creating mandala, all of these are becoming factors to obtain the non-dual bliss.
Tati samay tingi chuyin, inguru siyati diriba. Ta tingi jin siyati, laya jechugu tingi jin jingo jechugu tingi jin, dambi chuyin tingi jin siyati yari. Tana inguru, tingi chagyatam, tingi jin siyati, sumiwa.
Tingi chagyare, tanta di kwa lerta,
rabdu nedang, inguru drup siduwa.
Rabdu neda kinko drupe, chi dirwe,
Dashu drupe chogatang siyati
Rabdu neda kinko drupe lasa.
Rabdu neba siyati ramne chiyatiriba.
Kinko drupe siyati.
Jinguru subati, jinguru yat, jingjigi jinguru chiyariba. Odi tanjuli jinguru siyachariba. Jinguru. Samay tingi chuyinus, jesuna.
Kinko tenzi chagya siyata.
Jinguru tenzi chagya siyati, le dambi, jinguru tile, dambi juwe tingin jins, le jejugi tingin jins, jinguru jejugi tingin jins siyati, tingin jins sundili diyari, tingin jins chagya tang siyati duwa, tingin jins siyati le dambi juwe tingin jins, le jejugi tingin jins, tene dambi juwe tingin jins, le jinguru jejugi si, tene dambi juwe siyati, peni ngani, dambu te tene jima jine, le jejugi tingin jins siyati, deba chiyagi negastile le jejuri. Ta jinguru jejugi tingin di nyali le machikula, deba machikula jinguru tupu yerba. Odi jinguru jejugi tingin jins, le jejugi tingin jins, deba chitu zamba le jejugi tingin jins lebari. Tene deba chitu zamba ni sepa tu simjigi tuji sanjila choba tene chuyi tu jati deba chitu zamba sam tende tangurba kuwa tile le jejugi tingin jins siyari.
Kinkur seyadila warwa.
Jinguru
Kinkur gesho seyad.
Jinguru jejugi siyati dambi juwe tingin jins.
Kinkur gesho korona ulol shawar sangmanda kade shayad las.
Le jejugi tingin jins. Ani Jingo Jeju Dingitis. That Jingo the Dambuju Dingitis, then Dambut Daji in a Daji Bumbanema to Dambut Dingitis in Yerba. And then Jingo Jeju City, Jingo to be at it. And then they have to them by Jeju Dingitis.
So then move to the next one. It says the 10 outer principles are this mandala, it's a secret circle, samadhi, meditative stabilization, right? So mandala, okay, mandala. So that is like Tengen samadhi, right? So first we have what you call this samadhi of activities. Okay, samadhi of activities is like, this is, just imagine we are looking into a sadhana. Okay, sadhana. So the what do you call the samadhi of activities is like a recitation. Okay, recitation, reciting mantra and so on, and sending out light, and then helping out sentient beings. All this kind of visualization is called the samadhi of activities. Okay. Before that, so then we need to engage what you call this the initial samadhi. Initial samadhi, something like that. That means like we need to create a mandala, right? Mandala. So we need to build mandala and all this kind of stuff. This one is in Tibetan called Kinkor Gecho. Kinkor Gecho means like so the generation of the mandala. So we need to engage into that. So this when it says mandala, this is talking about like all these practices. Normally it comes in sadhana.
That Chagya
Chakya,
Tangda.
Chakya all this. And then the meditation is stabilizations. Then we have that, right? So then the mudra. Mudra is hand gesture, same. Tangtapsan.
Tangda said it. There.
Chakya. Tangtapsan.
Gamba Buddha Chiari. In this
Chamya.
Oh, dear. Tangda said.
Listen. It says standing posture in Tibetan, which is tangtap. You can imagine that as Lama dance. Lama dance. Yeah, Lama dancing, right? Cham.
You go on good Jamba Pat.
So then when we do rituals, there is a certain step you need to kind of like steps. You need to walk in a very certain steps, right? So that is called tangtap, and here it says standing posture.
That tangtaps do dance. That they dance. Sambu should dance. And it doji Jitun Cheba said in the Dua. Dudantiles, Jitun Jamgu should dance, Sambu should dance here. My picture of should do a good job, so Jenny should dear. Delisham Sambu should dance. Any doji Jitun Chebas, doji Jitun said, Gambachi, Laji. Gambachi in the young life can't share the doji Jitun here. Then Jitun Cheba said, Gambachi, Laji Ganesha Chiti, Mashabi Chebin, Jitun Cheba here.
I'm just going to tell you, Kumar Lava.
What in doing charity? Jitun Cheba singing.
Kim Cheba already.
Tim Mari.
Restless.
Jitun Cheba, Jitun Pepper.
Pepper, that's not pepper.
My Jitun Cheba said, Gambachi Lai, Chilganesha.
That's
Niga Ganesh Shabi in the deep doji Jitun.
not.
Lachi Gana, Gambachi, Lachi Ganesha, Chit Mashap, the good Jitun Cheba.
So the next one is called seated posture, and there are different ways to sit. Sit is a seated posture, right? Seated posture. Sitting, there's different ways to sit. Sangbo, Shukdan means Sangbo, means good, right? And I think sometimes they say it. What's it? Yeah. Anyway, so that sitting posture is the Maitreya. Maitreya sitting posture is like this, right? It's like sitting on a chair, something like that. That is called Sangbo Shuddha. And then the next one is called Vacha posture. Vacha posture, full Vacha posture and half Vacha posture. And then full one is like placing your foot on the other side of the thigh and then crossing these two, right? Both of your feet actually feet actually placing on the thigh, the crossing your leg. You know that, right? Yeah. So that is a full Vajra. And if you have placed only one foot on at the thigh, so that is called half Vajra posture. And then the sitting right now we are doing it. This is called ordinary posture. So this is ordinary sitting posture.
독단들이었어. 독단들이었어. 단 대주셔야지. 인대 등한테 신이야르바.
대주. So they call it. Yes, recitation. Yeah, recitation. Again, there are two kinds of recitation: mental recitation and verbal recitation.
어떤 인대시들이 말에만 잡아 맞춰지 이기 사업들이 슬로단 지니 지야들 인대시게르바 마담바제 세야디 삼류톤에 직거투야 니거투야 숨거투야 되는지 룸 어디담 아니 인데시 주제가
옥담부르베나
옥담부르바.
Okay, so the mental recitation is, for instance, if you're reciting Vajrayogini mantra Amam Sabbatakini, right? So then instead of verbally saying it, so you're looking at the letter, right? You're just looking at the letter and reading it mentally, and while you're holding your breath. So then you try to count how many you can read. Mentally, you can read that letter and in one kind of like, I don't know, holding breath.
단데 주대 인데 등한테 니체 나데 세트 나비토니 데베치에 들어봐.
So the verbal recitation is like verbally saying out loud the mantras.
대주스. 단에 진시들의 시경원의 진시 숨이봐.
So then next one is called fire ritual or fire puja. There are 4 types of fire pujas, fire rituals.
단 남주 사둥지도 잠바 진시기 추도. 아니 롱제세 지르바. 나비 진시세 티티리. 디나마 디제 운tim바틸레 timberle meko chiwe sedima sindus timber meko tigi segi nimati pase tamadima chini ningale 사금시 니가를 당마디 닝가라 그 아니 닝마디 마디지야 지어봐 어디 닝가를 사금이네 디 그래서 그래 dimbal에 메코치였어 그래 메코치 전에 세디 dimbal에 마서 dimbal에 메코티래 되니 세당이지 담마디니가래 사리 그 니닝마디 때마제마 오군네마디 지야디래 어디
So then here it says fire ritual, and also this fire ritual can be done with eating yoga, right? So eating yoga, you can do it in a fire puja form, fire puja ritual. So that will be like visualizing a fire mandala at your throat, and when you consume food, and then actually when it gets to the fire mandala or fire, then it burns out all these impure things in the food or impure aspect of the food, and kind of like separates from the essence of the food, and the what you call the discards the impure aspect of the food, right? So then normally we have deity at our heart all the time. So then when the essence of the food, when it drips down, so then you make it offer to your deity, which is residing at your heart always. So you make an offer to that. So then the leftover, or the waste from this food kind of goes down to lower part of your body, and then expel out of right, expel it out. So this when you do this visualization, that is called the fire puja, or the fire ritual, also fire ritual in the form of eating yoga.
신도 저 농심디 살에 개베이는 세디마사 세기 담아디 신도 저 농심디 살에 개디는 딜라 피 닝마디 마디 제르바 여디 지리 제시의 추드는 제세들이 신도 저 농심디 나라고래 개디는 아니 아주 지구를 더 지sem바래 주고 더 지sem바때 마틴 주점바라니 이게 미시발라 팀 미시바티니 더 지sem뱅 하불이야 신 전에 신도 털에 농심디 하불이 신들어 아니디 세사주 신도 털에 농심 하불이 세디 피야와 피 어디 딜이 제시 주도는 제세야디 아니 지게를 받아서
So so you can think of like this. Initially, we have Vachadara on our crown. This is just general kind of like ideas, giving like, for instance, right? So the Vachadara or Vachasattva on your crown. So then, because of your devotion and everything, so that deity kind of start to melt and dissolve into you, right? When it travels into your body, so that the quality of the deity actually mix with your subtle wind and subtle mind. Okay, subtle wind and subtle mind. So then when it becomes the inseparable with your subtle wind and subtle mind, so that subtle wind and subtle mind arises in a form of deity. It could be any form of deity, say your deity at your heart. So then the subtle wind and subtle mind is always inside you, with you inside, right? So then when you when you're able to turn that, like the subtle wind and subtle mind into the deity in your heart, so it will remain with you all the time, because that is your nature, right? That's your nature. It will remain all at your heart all the time. So then when you do this ritual, the fire ritual, for instance, eating fire ritual, or eating the yoga, then you do it with the fire ritual. So then essentially you're making it offering to the deity, which is not actually inseparable, not other than your subtle wind and subtle mind.
That is 지우를 도지 셈바를 건데 있는 도지 셈바도마 니두지도 니갈 마팀 니게 미시버티 신도 차는 음심디 도지 셈뱅어 나가체 아디 자주 마도바스 슈베 나가체 니 돌로 근주에 니게 미시버티래 도지 셈바티 튜베 나가체 사드 텔레피면 매버체 어디지 지도 강걸로 텔레피 매버체 주베리
So
도치 셈바치 엄디야르바 어두로 그네 텔레피베고 세상에 텔레피베 매버체
So what happens is like when you dissolve that Vachadara on your crown. So this is just an example, right? For instance, Vachadara on your crown, when they dissolve into your subtle wind and subtle mind, so then that means if you're able to dissolve that into that nature, so that the quality will remain with you until you become Buddha, right? Buddha, because this substance, this thing is going to be with you all the way to your Buddhahood, right? So that's why if you're able to mix with that, or blend with that sort of like, so then that quality will remain with you all the time until you become Buddha, right? So then once you have this, and once you have this deity at your heart all the time, so then let's say when you eat, you make offering to that deity. When you have like new clothes, if you put on your clothes, if you're taking showers, whatever you do, all these activities, imagine that you're making offerings to that deity at your heart every time, whenever you do any activities.
Oh, 네. 아니 산제 지게도 랑기 신도 태는 심티 파산기 파레 두여레 산제 편에 주지 요는데 신도 태는 심티 팀시야 말이 랑기 신도 태는 심티 매바딘데 매텐션에 남신아 코파 산제레 두여레 산제도 점바 산제도 점바 산제 신다지 주요는데 팀샵딘데 매버리 랑기 신도 때에서 심디스 산제리 두야 어디 선이단도 하나도 산제세야디 신도 때에 있는 심디 산제리 두야 미 산제 편에 중요하지 매버리 제사디 냐라 신도 때는 심디라 니디 하기야 매바제 딘데 매바제 mambu체인도 좀 같으니 남신나 아니 신도 태우는 좀 그런 상계 발이 두개야 봐. 디리 두개야 미시지. 아이 현다지 편에 줄로 주네 주 야란데 사지 주슈샤 지에 매버리 상계시도 신도 태우 심디 상계 판도야 지리 미시지. 편에 주는 굳이 요네 랑기 semleya shumshabdini zanme rangi semti jibagi jida tusune nipa sangere duyer mishuji di gyubari odi didu zamba sangi shendajine chupeya mebari odi rangi semni dingi dati kandesi shubresene sosantu ni 심디야 신도 태워 심디야 제니 군네 군미지 군남시 이상계 뭐 두두니랑 이상계 바시게르바.
So then if you look at this kind of visualization means like the Vachadhara blending with your the subtle mind and subtle wind, and making this inseparable with the subtle wind and subtle mind and yours at your heart, and keeping them forever until you become Buddha, right? So then when you look at this nature of the practice, it is suggesting that whatever our attainment of Buddhahood is not external objects. So it's actually suggesting that this is something happening internally, right? So then, so when we become Buddha, so it's not that like we are becoming something we are not, we are something. It's like separate from our entity, separate something. We are not trying to obtain something is unrelated to yourself, right? So then, when we become a Buddha, so then we said that this subtle wind and the subtle mind, when they get pure and then it becomes free of any stain or any obstacles or any those negativities, so then that very nature of the subtle wind and subtle mind takes on the form of Buddhahood. Buddha, it becomes Buddha. So this Buddha, this pure quality has been with us all the time. So we are trying to transform something that is in with us, inside with us. Something is internal kind of things within ourselves. So we are not trying to obtain or achieve something that is separate from our entity, separate from our existence. So we need to try to become something we are not. Right? So we cannot do that actually. So then when you do this meditation, and then we try to achieve through our Buddhahood, to modify all try to transform this subtle wind and subtle mind into Buddhahood is something internal. This is something we wanted to grow from inside, right? So then, what happens is that right now we are not able to do that because we have all these obstacles, we have all this the stain and stuff like that. We need to remove each and every stain or the obstacles, and then the what you call the negativities, and then eventually, so then that will become more like active, then we can achieve Buddhahood.
That's what courage was. 가조리어 잡을 수만 되네. 그래서 침벌어.
상사로 드는데요. 친 딜레디어. 돌마치에서 작슈치 딜레스.
댄시. 돌마치.
임포텐시 차게다. 따나 독다. 대주다. 진세 쳐봐. 레조다. 진세 쳐봐 차수. 레조.
쳐봐.
대주다. 대주. We finished. What did we finish? Offering, ritual, fire ritual. Ale, diri siya nga so kasi di jinsik chasu gen.
진실 차수.
Lang jinsik chare. Jinsik choba lejor tangsa ta lejor rish. Choba chi lejor redo. Choba di kare. Choba pe de di. Chi choba pe de nang choba pe de.
그것도
Jinsik sa choba lejor tangsa do.
시바. 진실.
Choba.
진실 초발레를 다지 진실체.
Choba.
초바체 초바 피야 들어봐.
So offering is offerings, right? And
레조르스디 레레조르스디다 레조티 시벨레지야야리 다블레지야리 제벨레지야리 옹기레지야리.
So the application to activities, there are again 4 types of activities, peaceful, wrathful, increasing, what is the other one? Expanding, increasing, and then subduing. There are the 4 activities.
드네 라르티바세티 두림디레.
Yes.
다지 차주제 두림지오르 봐.
Yes. So the concluding,
팀지질 팀세티 니투디레. 라르투세티. 라르투아세.
Concluding, right? It says concluding. Concluding means like after the end of the sadhana, then you have a dissolution process. So that is referring to that, everything dissolves to thing, and eventually it dissolves into the emptiness. So that part is called lardu. In lardu, kind of in Tibetan, lardu means like re-enter or re-enter or re-dissolve. This is concluding, right? Concluding. So then here it says lardu, right? In Tibetan it says lardu. Lar means again, du means dissolve, kind of re-dissolve or re-enter, right? Something like that. So anyway, so that is like, so all the environment and the mandala and the deities and everything dissolves into the deities, and then the letters into from the bottom eventually emptiness. That's referring to that kind of dissolution.
다시 버튼 버티스.
주스 차가 마시면 돼. 뒤었다 봐. 주스 차가 마시면 돼.
됐다.
Okay, any questions?
Yes,
Yes, sir. We should take rest. Yes.
I have a question. But from yesterday. Yesterday, Kusala spoke about faith, 3 different kinds of faith. Marrying faith, and then supreme faith, and faith based on reason. So I just wanted to know if faith based on reason is the one that changes into supreme faith. It's like an order, or is it like a separate quality?
This changes into supreme faith.
Yeah. So supreme faith is like you don't doubt anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, let's see. You said that three supreme faith is one of the 3 faiths?
Yeah, yesterday you said that.
Oh, what's that? Okay. Monto. Okay. Supreme faith. Yeah. Okay, that's supreme faith. Okay. Okay, that supreme faith actually refers to the pure faith.
Right.
Yes, right? Pure faith. I remember that now. So your question is What was your question again? Sorry.
My question is like the faith based on reason.
It's the supreme faith.
Question about that faith.
Okay.
Did Guru or be anything else without
No.
could be any kind of faith.
So you were saying like the okay.
So is that the faith based on reason that would eventually turn into the pure?
Okay. Depende this is the kasan gengi the teba sumsura thawe teba ichige teba ngotoge teba sumsura and kasan de dala ya teba jichik se di tagbe teba se di ngotoge teba kase tangwe teba de sigo res dina selwa to kono tangwe teba di pena shashin tangwe teba di pena gyumse mangbo la te gyusa la te na tama da susu ge da di dagara resha sambe teba ge jora di tangwe teba re res
진짜 이직이 되었어요.
ichige teba
이직이야. 그 유전을 때니 그 대박이야들이 이직이 되었어요.
Okay. So the 이직이 대바디 탑투나 다음에 대바라지 레베스 기회서.
아,
이직이 대바디 탑투나 다음에 대바라지 레베스.
다음에
다음에 대바디 렐 하시드로.
야,
다음에 대바디 다스. 다음에 대바디 렐 하시드 말이야.
다음에 대박이야디 명문 배녀부터
제베 대바디.
쌤 명문 배녀부터 대박이야 봐. 이 다음에 출당 맞대 집을 중요부터
the using some of the 이직이 대바랬어, bro.
디레.
That's okay. So when you use reasoning and then in the conclusion, if you develop some faith on that, so that is the last type of faith. That's called the faith based on reasoning. Looks like this is you mentioned 3 types of faith, right? So then the pure faith is simply free from any negative thoughts. So simply just faith, right? So the faith on based on reasoning is yeah. So 이직이 means faith on reasoning is different than faith, pure faith.
It's not. It's
다음에 대박.
다음에 대바디 나오. 다음에 대바디다 이직이 대바디. 다음에 대바디 니 몸에 와디 대바디 제일
명문 배녀부터
여바디 제일 대바디 대바레스.
대박
이직이 대바디 이 대바디 장마데. This you can call it like a clean faith, something like that. You have a water, if you don't stir it, if you don't disturb it, it's very clean, right? Something like that. That kind of faith. I don't know how you.
쌤때 디나싱이지. 당원지였으면 출당 맞대다. 다들 중요파티 쟤는 쌤들이야. 명문 뭐 차당이 온도 손에 다디 쌤들 당에 대버서야 되는 봐.
So let's say like our mind is not disturbed with any attachment and aversion or anything like that. Very still, sort of like so then if you have faith, something like that, no messing with any what you call this the attachment and aversion. Yes. Yeah.
Hi, Joshua. And Guru. To follow up on that, then is belief faith based on the idea that you need to do some analysis
Oh,
to
yeah.
get to that, to get beyond
Okay.
supreme, clear, clean faith? You
Oh.
need analysis to get. That's
To
even
get
higher.
to get a pure faith.
No,
Right.
after pure faith, you need analysis to
Oh.
go further.
Okay. 다 빼나셔서 덴데라지를 해서 빼나 다음에 대바 당고게. 안 디젤라야니 이직이 대바디게라야니 줌세만 붙다지. 야 이직이 대바지게. 근데 지역으로 왜시?
네.
Yes. Yeah.
Ah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
At the near the bottom of page 41 of the commentary, it says patience for the profundity of the doctrine. Could Rinpoche help me understand what that means?
Okay. Let's say profundity of the doctrines. Yes. Okay. Do you want more explanation on it?
Well, I understand profundity of the doctrine, but patience for it, I'm not understanding
Okay.
that part.
Then this is 철랑에 되고 있어요. 봤어요, 저와. 철랑에 되고 있어요. 어디 당연히 그런 시계들은 힘들는 교들이 현자라지 요를 The children of the pass. Let's see how this goes in English translation. Let's see. Profundity of the doctrines, right? Doctrines, forbearance of the profundity of the doctrines. Yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah. Anyway, that the children is in the server zero. He can reach it. That's it.
chö
This show again. Margin to facility. Same nature server. And in Nibud cars again. 중에 다른 게 써봐지. 추월랭에 생기 써봐라 타마디. 어디 추월랭에 생기 써봐디 안 되겠어.
다처라 이지 때문에 수나 아니 추월랭에 생기 써봐시니 틀리리야. 추월라 이지 잡아 때문에 수나 아니 추월라 마그발라 써봐도 수용 말봐. 아니 추월랭에 생기 써봐시.
Okay. So the what you call this forbearance for the profundity of the doctrines means like if you trust, fully trust in the practice, and then if you gain sort of like a ultimate sort of like a conviction on that dharma teachings, right? So then you have gained the patience, what's it, the forbearance, forbearance, yeah, forbearance of the profundity of the doctrines. So that means like you will not lose any faith in it, and you will not abandon, you are not going to abandon that teaching or practice.
I have a question, Geshe, about, it's on page 39, and it's about, we have a mutual investigation, the disciple, the Vajra master, but nowadays, the Vajra masters don't necessarily have the meeting with each disciple. So how is the Vajra master looking at the empowerments when he's giving or she's giving them to a large number of people or people they may not know? Are they just feeling that they're giving imprints and it's better to...
I see.
Yeah.
Tapena this is the Lama the Lama Niga Taji Chewa Resiwa. The Lama the Lama Niga Taji Chewa to the Lama Gipena Wong, the Lama Loma Taji Chewa, the Lama Loma Taji Chewa to the Venetian to the Wong the Nang and the Chechigua. Lama Wong Nang and the Children of Tapena Loma Regi one Lama the Loma Rere Sangale Taji Chegi Kohabioma to Yoma to Yoma Reso. I did Gions and Masuju Nang to some of the Candescine, some of the time Chigu Resi.
doesn't think
Actually, we don't follow this anymore. This is your response to you. Yeah.
Rinpoche had said in another teaching recently that the illusory body can be developed inside the drop or outside of the drop. My question is, does the meditator choose on that?
Okay.
Or does it happen spontaneously?
Okay.
Please repeat the question.
Yes.
So the question was like the illusory body. There are two ways to arise illusory body: internally and externally. So one is within yourself, and one I don't know.
When he signed up
Indestructible, right?
and he said outside, but I didn't know what that meant.
Okay. Tapena session chilu nang chinang da nang dang se jorwa. Chilu da nang dang se de nenju bo korong la rawa yore we so nang la dang ba chila dang. So you were saying like it's just the meditator has okay.
Power, or does it happen spontaneously?
Without knowing it, actually, yes. And the current just so damga yore we and the course yunga reverse. Yeah, they have choice. Yeah. They make the choice. So the meditator will decide whatever they want.
And just to follow up, if the meditator doesn't decide in the indestructible drop, where would they decide that it would develop? If it doesn't come from the indestructible drop.
Let's see, maybe I'll just put out like this now.
Because he said it's either inside the indestructible drop or outside. What does outside mean?
Okay, yeah, that's
The
better.
entire
Yeah.
body?
Okay. 답변은 지금 줄린 낭당다 치당스 개박한 듯이 하고 했어.
then 그래서 그래. 룽심 내서디 찬스강아 우스네게르바 디 나다시디 프랑셈 내서기 틸리티 나라 당야지야 진다스네데 류기 치료도 당야지야
딱 안데 디 차를 롱셈디 냠도 유리님도 파표적으로 류닝거 6으로 해.
아
류닝거디 막 6샷으로 해. 맨날 류닝거 지어라. 치당스야 돼. 치당스야 돼. 다음에도 정말 류닝거디 막 샤지. 류닝거도 로드로 차로 거래. 안돼.
치당스는 치트치는
차고 말아. 난 치당스는 안 됐어.
제선 풍부님배
부모님께 치를 당해서 류닝 차고.
지야리 풍부님배 치를 당했더니야 신도 저의 룽심 디 치를 당했네 류기 초반은 당내 뒤에
류기 초반스
신도 저의 룽심이 나를 당야지 제 신도 저의 룽심이 치료도 당야지 이제는 풍부님배 나를 당내 뒤에 봐 다양 치료 됐어야지 풍부님벌에 고설로 수단에 뒤야지 치료도 당해야 돼
Okay, the internal kind of the illusory body will be like, so that occurs inside the indestructible mind, right? And then the external means like it occurs outside the indestructible the mind, right mind. So that could be two, that could be like within your own body, or one could be like separate from your body. You mean all mean everything is one. That's right, right. This is shit langzia camera sama chigrosi one. Yes, yes.
치트나한테 이르지
Yeah.
I was just wondering what Ricochet thinks about receiving empowerments through Zoom.
Oh, what he thinks about it?
Whether he, yeah, I've heard that this happens, you know, and I just wondered if he had a viewpoint on that.
Oh, penetration 단다 Zoom 간에 단다 Zoom 쓴다. 온라인이야. 디 왕学지어와. 디 게임을 삼작하려, 관작하려 같은 게도 세서 쓰기 있어야 돼. 그래 간대 통수 간대 요새서 쓰기로.
딜레트 수수 삼재치네 디 도바 통부터 수비 온라인 간에 제네 질주 투여봐 인다 시 담에버트 온라인 시토네트 질주야 돼 카부 얘기를
Listen. So this is this is my opinion, right? So then if the Lama whoever giving the Lama the Lama topo Lama listen. If Lama has a power and if the Lama is highly realized, so then he has no doubt that they can bestow or they can convey initiation, you know, any means, like in like any channel, so like there's not, he has no doubt about it, right? But if the Lama is an ordinary being, so then he's not comfortable, maybe, you know, he's not sure about it.
니마 산게 좀 되대 슈트 좀 봐. 결혼 마 Valentosi Tintani Nimbatobi, Ting Kuram certification, 디나파 팅당 산지 중대 되게 틴다. 팅디 거네 님부터 열봐.
Gelong ma upala sura ma upala gelong ma upala. So then when Buddha was alive, right, and there was a person named Upala.
팅디 거네
Upala, he somehow, it's impossible for him to like him or Upala and then Gelong Mare Pare. Ma okay. Upala, it looks like Upala, yeah, Upala is a female ordained, fully ordained nun. I would say nun, yeah, fully ordained, right? And he get vows through writing. They're writing like a letter, right? So then the Buddha sent her a letter, and then she received the letter, and through a letter, actually the Buddha gave her the Vinaya vows. So that is possible. Okay. No questions?
Just to follow up on that, what if the Vajra master claimed that they didn't have the power, but the disciples had the pure view? Then
Wow.
could the Lama do the meditation
Special
online?
disciple.
Could the Lama do the empowerment online?
Oh, I see. See. Then this is Lama doji penangal to me ngalchi me kani me sumel lawai ne. Loma digi tapet Lama disangi yimba ta pura kharati khalore nyaba yungye dinde yina ani wong shuna digre sig. Lama dilaya loma digiro loma dilaya lama disangi yimba ta dinde yimba gi dinde gi be nyaba yonasa.
Nyaba yona.
Di kalau tingzui yona si wala ta tingzui do haku yona si sapa. Di lama lish
haku yona.
Stange yimba haku yona. Ni shuna digre sa. That's fine. If you know the Lama is a Buddha, so then that's
No
fine.
problem. Okay, take the chairman.
Shaka. Okay, so if you don't have questions, we will stop. Do you have any questions? Last announcement. May you somebody. Asa shi ge jo je me to ta ri ra lin xin nin de yan ba de san ge xin do me de bu wa yi zhong ren nam da xin la che ga shu yi ta ma bu mandala dan ni ya da ya me Rembo che ma ge fa nam ge jo shi ge fa nam ba me fa bon ne bon do be wa shu Gyangre rawe gowe shingan de bandan de wa ma lu ju me Chere si wa de zin ja zo yi Sha be si de ba tu de ju chi